This reaction is brought to you by my $5 or more supporters at coffee.com/Alex Haitz. I would like to thank Andreas Glaisel, Steph Newtown, Mark Ventura, and Cole Alexander for sponsoring this video, supporting me, my family, the channel. I appreciate it immensely, and I hope you all enjoy this video. Memorize what you told me, like a foreigner on holiday, dancing on the highway. I'll be the best player at the open mic night, which I've never done. I would love to do some kind of like 5-minute session of like 2 of my songs at some bar or restaurant or something. That'd be cool, but I'm too afraid. Also, I'm way too busy. Hello, everyone. Welcome to poll number 35. We are just beginning our My Bloody Valentine binge, which I have added ecstasy and wine, by the way. Technically should have done that before Isn't Anything, because I got all confused about that, but I've added that to the list. That'll be the next one, and then we got the EPs, and then the self-titled from 2013 to round it out. So very eager to continue through with that, but until then, we have a Discord poll. This was one of 4 albums chosen by my Discord people. And as you can see, this was the winner. I just had this window open and now I have closed it. As you can see, this is the winner. Only 3 votes, but you know, I have 4 supporters on Coffee right now, so as to be expected. But 2 out of 3 picked Pod. So that's what we're doing today. Probably the one I'm least interested in, but I'm expecting to maybe be pleasantly surprised. I don't know. We'll see. I have a fondness for the Kim Deal, Tanya Donnelly mashup, so I feel like there could be a lot of potential here. I don't know. We'll see. For those who don't know, I do unedited reactions at my Coffee page, coffee.com/Alex Haitz. For $5 a month, you can get access to unedited reactions from Modest Mouse going forward. That's April of 2021 that I began doing the unedited reactions. Quite a nice big back catalog in there, and you can get access to that whole thing for $5 a month. Also, you can hop in at the $1 per month level. You get access to voting in these polls that we do every 2 to 4 albums. Breaks up the monotony of going through a full artist binge and whatnot, and just kind of lets us interject with random miscellaneous things in the mix. So if you want to support the channel, that'd be a great place to do it. Also got a shout out NordVPN, link in the description for that. Fantastic VPN, great speeds, great prices. I've been using them for years. Have an affiliate link down below, so if you are in need of a VPN, go check them out. Pod. So, debut album from The Breeders. I talked about this briefly in the poll video, but I'll go over it again. My interaction with The Breeders is slim. I have reacted to Off You. That should be linked down in the pinned comment down below. I think I liked it. I haven't listened to it since, and I should probably go back and check it out again at some point between now and doing the follow-up for this reaction. I heard the first half of Cannonball, and I think I closed the tab because I just wasn't into it at the time. I've not heard Divine Hammer. I've heard No Aloha because that was in Better Call Saul. That's probably the first Breeders song I ever heard. I love No Aloha. And I want to say that Invisible Man was also pretty sick. Something about that, like, Kim Deal, Tanya Donnelly, like melodic indie rock thing that's just like so infectious. Because like I have heard, gosh, what was the name of the Throwing Muses? Yes. I love the track, Not Too Soon. I think that is a fantastic indie rock track from '91. Super melodic, super catchy, tons of personality, lots of fun. So, yeah, with Pod, there's a cover of Happiness is a Warm Gun on here. This is Steve Albini. I don't know how to say that. Rest in peace, buddy. Just passed away earlier this year in May. So really interesting that we're that we're reacting to the breeders here, but maybe that's, intentional. I don't know. Yeah, with Steve obviously produced recording engineer. Was he producing Nirvana as well? I don't quite know. And I want to say I've heard something else. It wasn't Pixies. Gosh, I don't know. I'm not going to scroll through this whole list and figure it out. I reacted to something that Steve produced, didn't I? I don't know. But we also have Britt Walford from Slint doing the drums on here, as well as contributing some vocals. So that's pretty sick. Someone in the comments previously told me that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, apparently this is maybe a little more like low key. Possibly. They said it had kind of maybe like a Slint-esque vibe a little bit. I don't know if that means it's like slowcore-ish and not as abrasive. I don't know, but this is 12 tracks. It's only 30 minutes long. It's a short album. Alt rock, indie rock, grunge, noise, all that stuff, Yeah, so I don't think I have anything else to add here. I think we're just going to go ahead and jump right on in. Like I said, haven't heard anything except for the original Happiness is a Warm Gun off this album. So let's go ahead and go with Glorious. What is going on in the cover art? Is that a person moving? Is it just blurry? Is it a statue? That was good. So yeah, it definitely actually does have that kind of like more minimal Slint feel. I don't know how all the tracks will sound, but it Kim's bass, which I assume she's kind of, I don't know. It says guitar, but like she played bass in Pixies, right? Bass, vocal, slide guitar. Yeah. But there's Josephine Wiggs playing bass on here. I don't know. But yeah, the bass and the drums definitely felt Slint-esque. It had that slowcore vibe to it as well. Interesting. Nice like pop break at the end too, with like that guitar line kind of cycling through the major chords. That's the stuff I dig. More of that, please. Okay, next one. Do, re mi fa sol la ti do. Dude, this is kind of sick. I had no idea. It's weird because like comparing this to like Pixies that Kim was part of is really hard to like do. Also, I was looking at Steve's producer credits, and produced Surfer Rosa, and it was Gil Norton that did Doolittle. And then also some Nirvana, as well as Yankee UXO, and then Magnolia Electric Co. in the same year, or like 1 year later. It's crazy. But he's mostly a recording engineer, and I don't quite know like what the difference. I mean, I guess like just he's really good at recording. That's what he does. I don't know. I don't know what a recording engineer does. But he was definitely present for like the last little bit of Nirvana there. Anyway, all that to say, yeah, I like the kind of like quirkiness of the Pixie songwriting comes through here. Like I don't know how much Francis was like the main component of songwriting with Pixies, and if Kim just kind of played the parts he wrote, or if she contributed to any major degree. I'm not entirely sure, but you can definitely get that quirky vibe here, because like when you listen to Gigantic, like that's cut from a very similar cloth. But yeah, the good melodic breaks, catchy, sounds good. Steve did a great job. Yeah, let's keep going. Happiness is a warm gun.
She's not a girl who misses much. Well acquainted with the touch of a velvet hand, like a lizard on a window pane. Soap impression of his wife, which he ate and donated to the National Trust.
You know, it has been so long since I have heard the original track, which was on the White Album, right? I don't listen to that one very much. I also don't listen to While My Guitar Gently Weeps, so sometimes I get them mixed up in my head. I know that sounds crazy. Yeah, it's on here. They're right next to each other. I don't remember the original track all that well, so I can't tell how faithful it is to the original. But as a track on its own, I like that quite a bit actually. Had some dynamics to it, which is cool. Oh. Dude, this album is great so far. What the heck is going on? Like I mean, like I don't ever let this influence how I think, but like when I see an album that's like kind of regarded in like a middle of the road capacity, you know, like something between a 4 to maybe a high 6 or a 7 on like the 1 out of 10 scale. I go in with lower expectations. And I kind of went into this one being like, I don't see anyone like really talk about this all that much. On RYM, it's rated 135 for 1990. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. But this is really impressive. Like that had like an ounce of, dare I say, like an alt country vibe going on. And I love the composition and like the weaving in and out of the different motifs. That was great. The heck, man? Anyway, let's keep going. Hellbound.
It lives in misery. Hellbound, 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 hellbound. Oh, we're falling down. Despite the night is eternal. Hellbound, hellbound. We're hellbound, 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 hellbound. Down, down, down. Lives in misery. We're hellbound, hellbound.
Kind of like a Pixies mixed with Sonic Youth type of alt rock that has that like the punk roots still, you know? Not my favorite one so far, but it's produced and mixed so nicely that it's hard to not like let it catch your ear. Also, looking up this album, Steve apparently like described his role as more technical than artistic and preferred to be described as an engineer rather than producer. So like technically a producer, but doesn't want to describe himself that way, I guess, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, not my favorite, but like I said, still sounds crisp and interesting. When I Was a Painter, track 6.
I was a painter, I painted you out. Too bad I have to die. Inside lays a corner I've been.
Pretty compelling track, dude. Fascinating. The tight drums. Also, apparently, Britt used the pseudonym because he didn't want his contribution to the album to overshadow his role in Slint. Which is kind of interesting because I would claim that his role in Slint was probably wouldn't have been overshadowed by this, but what do I know? Yeah, fascinating. Kind of minimal, but like really interesting, compelling grooves, snappy drums. Cool. What an interesting album. This is better than I was expecting, or like more cohesive. Like when I think of grunge, noise rock, alt rock from like mid to late 80s, early 90s, I will assume it's gonna be in more of a Sonic Youth or like early Pixies vein where it's like it has that punk ethos where it's like, who cares about melody? We don't need the melody. We're not gonna make something catchy in a traditional pop sense. But like that's not the case here at all. Which I find very fascinating. And that's why I really like Pixies, because Francis definitely has, like, especially on Here Comes Your Man, like that is an insanely catchy hook for a song that is about, darker things, which is typically the case with Pixies. But I'm getting that here and I dig it. I like it. Fortunately Gone.
I wait for you in heaven on this perfect street. I am now brown and round and warm. Hey, fortunately gone. Bum, bum, bum. I wait for you. Hey, fortunately gone. Bum, 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 bum.
It's like I really vibe with that like indie pop twee pop sound, but like the chords are slightly like askew. Like I really dig that. That's cool. Sick. This album is great so far. Wow. People are sleeping on Pod, I guess. Iris. Goo Goo Dolls.
It grows and I sleep standing up. Stay for lifetime, hour by hour, hour by hour. Hours and then pour water on me till I live it. Hour by hour, hour by hour.
Like Hellbound, also not quite a favorite, but really fascinating thing going on there. That was like a post rock song almost. It was only like 3 minutes long. It's probably one of the more artistic ones, I would say, so far. Who is singing on that? It's impossible to tell who's singing on what song. That may have been Kim. I don't know. You tell me. Opened.
Robin flies again. All the wind blowing back her Barbie doll hair. Robin and in a kitchen and Robin flies again. Robin flies again.
Man, these songs are strange. Like I'm definitely seeing the Slint post rock come through on here, which I was not really expecting. There's like a also that like post hardcore like subduedness. I don't know. Even the songs that I'm not super into are still compelling. Like I don't feel like there's been a bad track yet. In all honesty, maybe now though, only in threes. Man, the mix of like the anthemic like pop hooks mixed with like the more dissonant alt rock stuff is it's just good. It's just good. Also, I realized something. I didn't know this. Steve was in Big Black. And when that dissolved, he was a sought after producer, even though he wanted to be called an engineer. Did Surfer Rosa, did Rid of Me, and Kurt Cobain liked this album so much he got him for In Utero. And Steve produced Tweez, which is how he knows Brit, and recommended Brit for this album. Interesting. Fascinating stuff, man. Learning a lot. Limehouse. I found it. I found it. It's always the penultimate track on these alt rock albums. Is it? I don't know. But that's the only one I don't like so far. Where I'm just kind of like, I don't know, not catchy. Riff didn't really grab me all that much. I'd probably skip it in the future. I prefer LimeWire. Metal Man. Okay. That's it. Uh Man. Spanish guitar, huh? Interesting. Those are really strange chords. And the like it felt like just like a room mic. There's like talking in the background. Fascinating. That was cool though. That was cool. So, that's Pod. Um it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't love it, but like it's very solid for like an album of this type. Cuz usually like I said, like even some of the more acclaimed albums in these genres in this time frame, they don't really like put their hooks into me at all. And I know it's probably just a me thing, but like if I had to reach for Daydream Nation or this, I'd probably reach for this. And that's not to say that this is better than Daydream Nation. This just does things that I find more compelling, I guess, that resonate with me a little bit more. I don't know. I like contrast in music. I think contrast in music is really cool. Sometimes it can be a little too progressive, a little too artistic and wild. But just this mixture of like the pop hooks with the post-hardcore or grungy alt rock, indie rock riffs, I find when they're done really well to be very compelling. And that's kind of how I felt about most of this album. Hellbound and was it Iris or Opened that weren't quite in my wheelhouse, and I think Limehouse is also the weakest track on the album. But like Glorious was cool, Doe was cool, Happiness is a Warm Gun was pretty compelling, O was fascinating. When I Was a Painter, Fortunately Gone, Only in Threes, Metal Man, wow, very I don't know, much more artistic and cohesive than I was expecting. Because like I recall doing the Dinosaur Jr. album, You're Living All Over Me, and I just felt super underwhelmed by that album, and I felt bad because I'm like, what am I missing? But like this album has what that album didn't, which just feels like some kind of artistic cohesion, I guess, and it's not just like messy lo-fi for the sake of messy lo-fi. But I don't know, what do I know? What do I know? But yep, there's Pod. Very nice album. Eager to re-listen to some of these, check them out again, and kind of see how I feel about it. And maybe consider doing Last Splash in the future. I don't know. We will see. We will see. And that's the end. That's the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Things to plug, of course, coffee.com/AlexHeitz. Like I said, $5 a month gets you access to unedited reactions, of which this is one. and $1 a month access to voting in these polls that we do every 2 to 4 albums or so. Also got to plug the Discord, link in the description for that. Got about just under 200 members over there. It's kind of starting to get a little bit more active again, maybe. I don't know, who knows, but that's where I post like updates and, you know, announcements when I live stream and stuff like that. So if you want to be able to join the community of me, that's where you do it. Okay, that's all, everybody. That's all. Hope you had a nice time. Very entertaining reaction. I enjoyed that more than I thought I would, which is fantastic. That's always a nice feeling. And we're getting right back into the thick of My Bloody Valentine. Not sure if I'll enjoy Ecstasy and Wine or not, but I'm actually very eager to get to that 2013 self-titled to compare and contrast like a post-Loveless album, which I think will be interesting. And eager to get to those EPs too, actually, because there's a song I've heard off of one of them that I find very fascinating. So that's what's coming up next. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And until next time, Godspeed.